Hi, I'm Ian Bailey. I'm a self-supporting ordained minister in this diocese with permission to officiate. My story really began in 1973 at a David Watson guest service in York Minster, where I had what would be called a classic conversion experience with full charismatic backup. The result of that was that I had a daily quiet time, read the Bible from cover to cover until the cover fell off. But gradually I realised that I was learning about God, I was knowing about God rather than knowing God. And I craved more of the spiritual experience that I'd had in York Minster. Trying to understand that experience really has been the characteristic of my entire Christian life. And it was really the cloud of unknowing that broke that deadlock for me. In the cloud, the author is saying that there's always going to be a cloud of unknowing between you and God that's going to be difficult to penetrate. And what you need to do is to rest in that cloud and forge a cloud of forgetting between you and the world. So in contemplation, get rid of the worldly thoughts, rest in that cloud and wait upon God. And that I found hard, but very, very helpful, and it stayed with me for years. The second of the mystics that really impressed me was Dame Julian of Norwich. I'd always wondered about that word in that you find in John's Gospel. I am in my Father and my Father is in me and I am in you. And Paul's, if anyone is in Christ, it's a new creation. And I didn't really know what in meant. And the thing about Dame Julian is that she said that our souls are preciously knitted to God with a knot so subtle and so mighty that one is wand in God. That word wand. It's like Christ in us and we're in Christ. We are one, and we take that forward in what we do. And that again was a huge revelation for me, that you start off in the Christian life with that union and express that union in whatever you do in the world. The third of the mystics that really means a lot to me, and increasingly so as I get older, is St. Teresa of Avila in her book The Interior Castle. She describes seven different places or mansions that we move through in our Christian life. The first mansion is entry, which is obvious. Second is dealing with sin. She calls them little reptiles that you've got to shoo out of your house. The third mansion is Christian maturity, where you've developed a rhythm of life, which this course is trying to do, and you're kind of at cruising altitude in your Christian life. But there's more than that. The fourth mansion is where love exceeds reason, so that things begin to happen to you which you can't really understand with your intellect. She talks about a boundarylessness, that you can feel in prayer, that you feel part of eternity rather than confined within your own body. And gradually through the other mansions, that feeling expands, that experience of knowing God expands until the final mansion, the seventh mansion, which is union with God on God's terms, and that comes to us in our death. So as I get older, I take a lot of comfort in that. So it's back to this question of knowing God rather than knowing about God. For me, the value of the mystics has been to make it easier for me to know God rather than know about God. The key thing about the mystics is they tell you how to know God. That's their value for me.